Good day, Philippines. Good day, Cebu. Welcome to another episode of Hotseat, presented by Kanaas Gikan sa Amihanan. I'm Janine Patricia, and it is my pleasure to host the show alongside our Associate Editor-in-Chief, Mr. Jacob Unabia. Just in case you did not know, our little online show, Hotseat, is entering its 5th month this month. And what better way to open up this month of June with this guest who has definitely made a mark in everything that she does. She is a former UAAP courtside reporter, and just recently, she finished her master's degree in economics. And to top that, she is also now a licensed doctor of medicine. We're truly lucky to have her this time. Ladies and gentlemen, the daughter of Vice President of the Republic of the Philippines, Dr. Janine Patricia Robredo. Hello, Dr. Tricia.
Hello po. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Evening na pala. Hello.
Glad to have you on the show po.
Happy to be here also. Hello.
Kamusta po kayo, Doc? What have you been doing po during this quarantine?
Actually, ang dami. Well, ang tagal na natin in quarantine. So, ang dami na rin nangyari. So, the first part of quarantine, at least the first year of quarantine or the first half, I was reviewing for the boards because I took the boards last November. But after that, like as soon as I found out na I passed, I tried to really immerse myself in doctor work na. So I do ER duties, I do clinic work, but recently I've been involved in yung Bayanihan e-consulta ng OVP. That's been taking up a huge amount of time actually kasi the operations medyo matugo siya. But it's been really fulfilling and you know, and it's parang I can't think of a better way to spend my first few months as a licensed doctor. So ayun, yeah, maraming ginagawa, but ayun, I'm happy to be here with the two of you today.
We are so glad that you could sit with us in the show po. To tell you honestly po talaga, we are actually startled with your achievements, Dr. Tricia. Sino ba? Hindi po talaga namin aakalain yun. But did you ever plan or dream of these things po? Like, bata pa lang po ba kayo, gusto niyo na po maging doktor? Ano po ba yung story behind this?
Actually, being a doctor was never part of my plan, if I have to be honest. I've always wanted to be a lawyer, not a doctor. I think it's partly because when I was little, yung mom ko kasi very hands-on sa amin eh. So, I remember when she'd do a lot of work as a lawyer back in the province, she'd take me with her eh. So, I remember watching her and just thinking that this is something I'd like to do when I grow up. Pero actually nakakatawa siya kasi yung sa aming pamilya, yung mom ko yung nangarap maging doctor. I don't know if a lot of people know this, but nung papasok si mama ng college, dapat BS biology siya, not even econ. But then ayun, a lot of things happened. She ended up taking economics. Pero becoming a doctor was one of her frustrations kasi gusto niya talaga yun yung gusto niyang profession to begin with, yun yung pangarap niya. And I guess at first ako yung napilit to take over that dream. Honestly, at first I wasn't so up for it, but then now I couldn't think of anything else I'd rather be doing. So ayun, yung kwento doon, sumunod lang ako sa nanay ko at first ko anong gagawin ko. I entered college at a young age. I was mga 14, 15. I didn't know what to do. She was there to guide me all throughout, and I guess the influence yung guidance niya ng gusto niyang maging nung bata pa siya, napasa sa akin. And that's how I ended up in a science course, and that's how I ended up in medicine, basically. Pero yun, hindi ko plinano, hindi ko binalak. Sabihin natin binalak ng nanay ko. Pero masaya naman ako na nandito ako ngayon. Nakikita ko naman kung yung purpose ng ginagawa natin. So, I'm at peace with what I'm doing now.
Pero, Doc, hindi naman po lingid sa kalaman ng lahat na medicine is really not for everybody. Kahit ako, mag-iisip pa lang ako ng med school, ang hirap na eh.
Kaya nga,
Can you tell us the struggles po you had when you were in med school? Ano po ba yung pinakamahirap na experience nyo?
I think, well, med school kasi diba, it's 5 years. It's 3 years of classroom work, 1 year of clerkship, and 1 year of internship. And I think different years, different struggles din siya. First 3 years, yung pinaka-struggle ko was, I felt like I did not want to be where I was. So it was really trying to find the energy to commit to medicine. Ang dami nagsasabi na mahirap tumagal sa medicine kung yun yung gusto mong gawin. Honestly, that's true. Kasi ba't nag-google ng sobrang daming oras sa isang bagay na di mo na medicine requires a lot. At the time, I had different interests. You mentioned a while ago, I was formerly a journalist. I did sports journalism for a time. I got into sports journalism. Again, it was something na hindi ko plinano, pero sobrang nagustuhan ko when I was there. And nahanap ko lang yun pag-graduate na ako ng college. And honestly, I wanted to try journalism. So, at the time I wanted to try journalism, I was already in medicine. And the part of me, I think, despised the fact that I was in medicine and I wanted to try something else. So the biggest difficulty for me at the time, at least for my first 3 years, was really to get myself into the practice of medicine and, to understand why I'm sacrificing a lot of my time to study, to be in a place na hindi naman talaga ako sigurado for myself. But eventually, you get the hang of it. Nagagapang mo naman yung mga classroom years. And when you reach the hospitals, the difficulties become so different. For me, yung una kong difficulty was, of course, adjusting to the hours in the hospital. Kasi we do 24, sometimes 34-hour duties. And it was so hard for me to stay up the whole time. I like to sleep. So parang for me, that was a huge adjustment in the schedule. And really, you have to accept that there are a lot of things we couldn't do. I had to give up journalism that time. It was one of my, for me, I'm so passionate about writing. I was so passionate about journalism. But I couldn't commit to it full-time anymore because my heart was in medicine. So it's making those necessary sacrifices to, paano ba? To kind of commit talaga to medicine kasi it's really a commitment. You can't spread yourself too thinly. And it was so difficult for me to let go of things that I love doing. Kasi alam ko I have to prioritize, the practice of medicine. But then, again, once you get the hang of it, nakikita mo yung mga natutulungan mo araw-araw, it becomes very fulfilling and your sacrifices become worth it. But then sometimes yung mahirap doon is syempre, you go on duty, sa sobrang napapagod ka. Minsan, hindi mo maiiwasan na magsungit ka rin. Minsan hindi mo maiiwasan to become, hindi man sa hindi maiiwasan, but sometimes you find yourself becoming the person you swore you wouldn't become. And I think for me, from the time I stepped foot in the hospital until now in my training, that's been the most difficult part. Every single time sinasabi ko, ayaw ko maging ganitong doktor. Gusto ko may puso pa rin akong doktor. Ayaw ko tingnan yung mga pasyente ko na parang cases lang sila. But because it becomes very toxic, the workload becomes so overwhelming. Sometimes, sinabi ko kanina, nagiging ganun kang tao eh. And you feel bad about it. You feel very guilty. Sometimes it's hard to get yourself out of that hole. Na parang gusto mo na to get over and you want to bounce back and do better. Pero sobrang guilty ka, it's hard for you to get back in the rhythm of things. And I think, yun. Parang the difficulty is keeping your humanity, keeping yourself grounded and, trying to be kind always. It's such a struggle, especially ngayon na pandemic. Ang hirap niya eh, kasi sobrang naging mas toxic siya.
yes.
So, yeah, I guess that was kind of a lot. Ang ikli nung tanong, pero ang dami ko nasabi. But again, like, as I mentioned a while ago, it's really different types of difficulties through different phases of the practice of medicine.
Were there episodes po ba na, with my friends po na kilala ko po na into med school, were there episodes po ba rin sa inyo na pumupunta na lang po kayo sa corner tapos umiiyak na lang because you cannot handle the situation? May ganun po bang episode sa inyo?
Oo, ang dami. every year sinasabi ko gusto ko na mag-quit. As in, every single year, that's what I say. And I think, pati sa nanay ko sinasabi ko, and sa buong pamilya ko, sinasabi ko, every after, parang every time I take a test and fail it, sasabihin ko, ayoko na, tigil na ako. Iyak na ako. Or you find yourself going back to school pa rin the next day and you find yourself really studying. Kasi, there are times na hindi mo talaga, mahirap hanapin yung saysay sa ginagawa mo. But sometimes it's also the discipline that you have to stay committed to, you have to stay disciplined and you have to stay focused kasi nag-commit ka doon eh. And I think that's what kept me going. A lot of times I cry, a lot of times sasabi ko na mag-quit na ako. But because alam ko I committed to medicine, alam ko hindi mura mag-medicine. Lalo na dahil yung mom ko single parent, that's part of the guilt na pinapag-aral niya pa rin ako, pinapagtapos niya pa rin ako. So on days na hindi ko na mahanap yung meaning or yung rason kung ba't ko siya ginagawa, iniisip ko na lang, my mom's investing on me. Kailangan ko to stay disciplined. Ginusto ko mag-enroll into a medical school. So I have to make sure that I follow through. So, ayun, disiplina talaga. Pero hindi ko i-deny na maraming beses na umiiyak na lang ako. At hindi na naiintindihan kung ba't umiiyak ako. Basta iiyak na lang ako. Pero maraming ganong moments. I think normal lang yan sa mga medical students. So, wag sila matakot kung gano'n. And sometimes you just really have to cry it out. There's no other way to deal with it. So, allow yourself to cry, allow yourself to express those emotions in ways that you think would help you. So, ayun.
Dr. Tricia, we made mention earlier po na one of your many achievements is that you are also a master's degree holder in economics. How were you able to do it po? How were you able to study medicine and economics at the same time?
Well, actually, it's business ad, MBA siya, not master's in economics. But yeah, parang ganon. It's part of the program kasi. Part siya sa Ateneo curriculum. Mm-hmm. So, that's why yung sa school namin, you graduate after 5 years instead of graduating after 4. Kasi we do, sabay namin tinitake yung pagdodoktor at yung pagiging MBA. So, mahirap din yun. It's hard to shift focus eh. Alam mo yun, science ka one time and then the next day, you think about business. You think about numbers. So that's something that we're not really used to. But, I think I give credit to Ateneo, I think, and to the program that I enrolled in kasi somehow they made it work and somehow it all made sense kung bakit namin siya pinagsasabay. I think nag-MBA kami kasi their goal or their vision for the students or the graduates of Ateneo is to become hospital administrators in the future or public health leaders. So parang nakikita ko naman yung point. Again, when you try to strive to think about why you're doing these things at once and why you're doing it simultaneously instead of just complaining about how difficult it is, I think it makes the task a little easier. Kasi pag nakikita mo yung saysay talaga, mas papadali yung trabaho, basically.
Doc, everyone knows that you are the daughter of the Vice President of the Philippines. You are also active sa mga events, sa mga programs that the Office of the Vice President spearheads. Paano nyo po nababalance yung time nyo po?
Well, actually, I try to avoid being involved in OVP projects if that's something I have to be like casually blunt about. Ayoko kasing katrabaho yung kapamilya ko. That's one. Siyempre ayokong, pag umuwi ako ng bahay, gusto ko yung nanay, my mom is my mom. She's not my boss, she's not my workmate. So as much as possible, I try to shy away from OVP projects. But I guess this was a special case, yung Bayanihan Konsulta. Mahirap siya hindian kasi yung mom ko, I remember she asked for my help. Sabi niya, we're trying this new initiative. At first it was like mas versed ka medically, so baka gusto mong tulungan ako to understand what's happening, but then all of a sudden napasok ako sa programa. At ayun, this is the first project na I've been very involved in as far as OVP is concerned. How I balance my time, it's not easy, I have to admit, because I also go on hospital duties pa rin. and I still do clinic work. So again, a necessary sacrifice. So I go, for example, I go on duty Tuesdays. Tapos Wednesday, duty sa hospital ng Tuesdays. Tapos Wednesday, mag-duty ako sa OVP project. So, alam mo, nitiisin mo na lang na wala kang tulog, matutulog at a much later time, minsan magpahinga ka agad. Pero the adrenaline is also different once you see like the amount of help the people are asking for. And you know, the amount of work that has to be done, parang kasalanan na nahindian mo yung obligasyon na yun. Kami, doctors were under oath that we have to respond to the patients. We have to respond to calls for help. So I think kahit mahirap, again, may quote, my favorite quote ako na applicable, I think, to what we're going through. Hindi mo tatanungin kung ano ang madali. Tatanungin mo kung ano ang importante. And when you think about what's important, everything else comes secondary. And I think that's one of the reasons why not only me, but the doctors now keep doing what they're doing. Aside from the fact that they're under oath, they see what's important. So, alam mo yun, parang hindi kahit sino naman, kahit hindi doktor, basta obligasyon, basta importante, I think hindi mo kayang talikuran din eh. So, you know, it doesn't matter how difficult something is. What matters is what's important and what's right to do at the time. So, ayun.
Doc, yung mother niyo po is the target of our critics, no, especially on social media. As a daughter of Vice President Lenny, paano niyo po na-handle po yung mga bashing?
Well, I mean, it helps that I don't really search for, you know, comments anymore. I don't really read them. Kaya, ayun, parang kahit tinatag na ako, minsan hindi ko na siya nababasa. So, it helps that I try to distance myself from all the bashing, all the comments, all the toxic comments. But then for me naman, sometimes there's always room for improvement. There's always room for criticism. So, but it's always taking things lightly and knowing how to filter out noise and knowing how to identify comments that will help. Alam mo naman, kami naman ina-acknowledge namin na we don't have the monopoly of good intentions. We don't have the monopoly of good ideas. And whenever we receive comments or criticism, for example, that we feel would help, alam mo yun, hindi ka lang nang babash para lang mang-bash. Nang babash ka kasi may gusto kang marating or may gusto kang iparating. I mean, those things naman we try to consider kasi it's for everyone's benefit para bumuti naman yung kailangan pagbutihin, na ma-improve yung kailangan ma-improve. But I guess as far as bashing is concerned, I think, you know, being here for how many years na rin naman, I think we've gotten used to it. So we're not as affected. And I think kasi kilala din namin yung mga sarili namin. Alam namin yung totoo at alam namin yung hindi. It's easier to deal with those things. Hindi na rin kayo magpapa-apekto naman sa hindi totoo. So, I guess that's one of the ways to deal with it. It helps that kasama ko yung mga kapatid ko na yung nanay ko na actually ang lalakas nila. Sobrang matatag ang mga loob nila. And when I see them na parang medyo unfazed no matter what's thrown our way, hindi din ako maapektuhan masyado.
Hindi na rin basta-basta napipinag. Doc, Tricia, these following questions po are like slam book questions. So, whatever po comes into your mind first or whatever fits po. First question po is, what is your favorite sport?
Favorite sport?
Yes po.
Yes.
I was a swimmer, so swimming. I used to swim when I was younger, so swimming talaga.
Favorite musical artist po?
Taylor Swift, definitely.
Favorite movie po?
Oh man, favorite movie. Hirap niya na.
Local first.
Local.
First.
Kung local, for Sisters and the Wedding, siguro.
Okay.
Or we're such fans of that movie. Ilang beses namin siya napanood. So kung local, yeah. Four Sisters and the Wedding, I would say.
International po?
International, You've Got Mail, siguro. Negra, ayan. You've Got Mail.
What is your comfort food po?
Indian food, for some reason. Sobrang gusto ko talaga Indian food. Whenever I feel down or, yeah, Indian food. Pero, that's comfort food. Favorite food of all time, tinapay talaga. As in, walang tinapay. Spanish bread.
All kinds of tinapay.
Red. Tawag sa Bicol sa amin maligaya, but I guess tawag dito sa Manila is panderegla. So I don't know if you're familiar with it. Yung
Yes.
may parang pula, shock, sobrang sarap nun. Actually, papuyin ko Indian food, I'm gonna replace it with tinapay.
Ah.
Tinapay talaga yung ultimate, no fail. When I'm a guest, people know na tinapay pa lang, masaya na talaga ako. Yeah.
Sige po. Kung makikita po tayo, bigyan ka na lang po
Sige.
namin ng
Tama
tinapay.
ako yan.
Yun.
Sige, sige.
If you're not a doctor po, what would you be po kaya?
I'd be a journalist. Not even in front of the camera. I think I'd be writing. Yeah.
For you po, what is your greatest achievement in your life so far?
Greatest achievement. Hala, ang hirap niyan. Well, I mean, I think the more obvious answer would be, passing the boards. Because I mean, that's a feat in itself. But ako, for me, one of the greatest achievements siguro tuloy is being where I am despite everything that's happened. Ako, for me, for example, when my dad passed away, ibang experience yun. I felt na my world would crumble. As in, at the time, I didn't know how I would go on. But somehow, with the help of my family, I was able to still, I was able to manage to do the things that I've done, and I think that's one of the things I'm very proud of. Kasi iba talaga mawala ng tatay, especially my dad. My relationship with my dad was out of the ordinary, and ayun, time na hindi ko alam kung paano ko siya masusurpass. Pero ayun, we were able to channel that energy into something more productive and something meaningful. And looking back, I think yun yung sa mga naging, the greatest achievements I've been proud of.
What are your pet peeves po?
Dami. Pet peeves.
Top 3 lang po. Top 3.
Top 3, ang hirap din yan. Ano bang pet peeve?
Marami.
Ang dami pala.
I would say like disinformation, of course, is one. Especially because we're in the medical field, hate ko talaga yung mga anti-vaxxers. That's one. I've gotten into so much trouble on social media for fighting talaga my advocacy on being vaccinated, etc. So basically, hate ko. I mean, pet peeve ko yung mga taong, alam mo yun, alam naman nila yung tama, alam nila yung mali. But then they keep trying to fight for parang ba sabihin? Kasi hindi, sige, to put it bluntly, ayoko sa mga anti-vaxxers, that's one. Number 2 siguro, ayaw ko din ngayon na nakikita ko, yung sobrang call-out culture natin sa social media. I hate how social media has become so toxic.
Yes.
Masaya ako na people are actively trying to correct information na mali. Masaya ako that people are trying to correct yun, alam mo yun, yung mga mali talaga. But the way some people are doing it, yung parang may superiority complex, kumbaga, and yung hindi na gustong makipag-usap kasi feeling na sila lang yung tama. Sobrang pet peeve ko yun, as in hate ko yun. I cringe when I see those kinds of people online. Third pet peeve. Ano ba yung pet peeve ko? Ayoko yung pag kinakausap ko pero nagpo-phone. So for example, when I'm with my friends, alam nila yan. Or kahit na mama. For example, I'm trying to talk to them and then something comes up and they're on their phones. Medyo may inis ako ng sobra. So yun yung babaw pet peeve ko compared to others na nauna. Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough sa number 3. How do you distress po ba?
How do I distress? I exercise to distress, actually. At least during over quarantine, yun yung pinaka pang distress ko. So whenever I get burnt out from studying, I try to exercise. Kasi endorphins, diba? Exercise gives you endorphins. So at least you feel productive after a quick workout. Or at least you feel a little happier about certain situations. So ayun, that's how I distress. But then, of course, I exercise to eat. So, yun naman yung pinaka-rason ko. So, I guess if that counts as a distressing activity, eating is also one of the things or one of the ways I try to distress. So, ayun.
If you had a superpower po, what would it be kaya?
Superpower. Nakakatakot yung superpowers, actually, to be honest. I guess, ano ba? Siguro superpower na lang siguro is, ayoko naman sabihin bring back time. And I don't know if it counts as superpower, but probably, hindi, wag sabihin ko sana being able to talk to my dad, if that's a superpower. Kasi parang I feel all the time na it would be nice to receive guidance from him. Pero yung takot ko kung gawin ko yung superpowers, baka naman may makausap ako na
Ibang
Iba?
kami.
hindi ko gusto makausap naman.
Hindi mo kilala.
But, yeah, siguro yun na lang. If I can specifically just talk to my dad whenever I want to, or any relative that passed, siguro yun. Isa yun sa mga gusto kong maging power or maging special skill.
Good.
Last na po.
Sige.
With your busy schedule po, ano po yung ano bang tawag yun? Dream date po.
Dream
date.
With my busy schedule.
May time pa ba?
Meron naman mahanapan ng paraan yan.
Yun.
Ako kasi mahilig talaga ako maghanap ng, akong at least recently, yung pinakahilig ko na lang talaga and pang distress ko is humanap ng masarap na kape at tinapay. And for me, yun na yun eh. May ganun lang ako sa araw ko, masaya na talaga ako. Kasi parang...
Kahit sino po ba yung kasama?
Kahit sino, kahit kaibigan, kahit sino talaga masaya na ako niyan. Kasi nakakalunod din to be in a very toxic environment. Like, just to get out of the hospital and get yourself some breathing time, masaya na talaga ako doon. So yun, your dream date ko is to keep looking for good tinapay and good coffee. So ayun, masaya na ako doon. Yeah.
Doc, at this point, no, we will be showing you a picture.
Okay.
And what we want you to do is to give a message to the person who will be appearing in the image.
Sige.
Janine, please. Right.
Oh no, mag-birthday na siya. Mag-birthday siya. I don't know when you're showing this, but
What is your message po for the late
May 27.
Secretary TRICIA Robredo?
Well, of course, parang yung message ko sa kanya, I hope he's happy with what he's seeing. We miss him every day and we try to work. Parang, paano ba, yung mission naming magkakapatid at yung mission din ng nanay ko is to strive to continue what he did when he was still here and to try to make him proud. And I hope in one way or another nagagawa namin yun. So, ayun, siguro message ko kay Papa, I hope he's happy with what we're doing. And, ayun, syempre, gusto ko rin siya magpahinga. Like, alam ko ang daming beses na hinihingi ko kay Papa na sana magparamdam ka naman sa akin, etc. But I hope he's in a happier place. I hope you're in a happier place, Papa. And, ayun, just the message, of course, that we love him and we always think about him. No matter how busy our day gets, he's still the first person we think about and the last person we think of. So, everything we do, parang it's centered sa kanya. So, that's something that I want to assure him if he doesn't know it yet. So, ayun.
Right, Dr. Tricia, our newspaper po Kanaas is celebrating its 10th anniversary. What is your message po to the members, writers, editors of our community newspaper po here in Bugo, Cebu?
Well, of course, ngayon na iniisip ko, ginagawa niyo yung pinapangarap kong gawin, magsulat. At alam mo, this is the line of work I wish I was doing as well. But of course, number one, syempre, gusto ko lang paabot na sobrang hanga ako sa ginagawa ninyo. I know it's difficult to be doing what you're doing in these stressful times. I know na you're not given as much credit as you deserve. And alam ko talaga mahirap. Nakakatakot din to speak up. Nakakatakot yung ginagawa natin. But we still strive to bring out the truth, to speak truth. And that's something na yun, I'd like to commend everyone for doing. Alam ko hindi madali yung ginagawa niyo. You're putting a lot of things on the line for doing what you do. So siguro in behalf of myself and a lot of people, we thank you for your service. Malaki yung ginagawa, malaking bagay yung patuloy na yung ginagawa sa ganitong mga panahon. And I guess another message is to remain magpakatatag lang. Alam ko, mahirap talaga. And I hope you don't lose sight of why you're doing what you're doing. Maraming question sa ginagawa ninyo. Pero sana you always err on the side of what's right and what's true. That's my hope for everyone. But then, ayun, ultimately, nagpapasalamat ako sa ginagawa ninyo. And I hope you remain steadfast and true sa mission ninyo. So, ayun. Congratulations din. And
Thank you po.
It's a big
Thank you po. Thank
Last
you
two
po.
questions na lang po, Janine. My last two questions na lang po, Doc Tricia. Would you ever enter politics?
No. That's yun yung medyo sigurado and firm no ako. But parang kami naman naniniwala kami na that's not the only way you can help others. I think I'm at peace serving my community the way I'm serving it now. Masaya ako. Sinabi ko sa inyo at first, medyo nag-aalinlangan ako maging doktor. Hindi naman talaga yun ang pangarap. Pero ngayon masaya ako na ito yung ginagawa ko. And I don't think I need to get into politics just to be able to help my community. Probably it's easier to do it that way, but I'm happy with my line of work. And ayoko talaga ang gulo ng politika. Masaya na ako sa aking buhay as a doctor. So,
Okay, last question. What is your favorite Taylor Swift song?
Oh my
And
God.
why? And why?
Okay, you caught me. Hindi ako ready for this question.
That's hard. That's gonna be hard.
This is so difficult. Long Live na lang. From the Long Live na lang yung favorite album. Yeah. Kasi yun din yung favorite album ko eh. That era, that was one of my favorite albums. So Long Live na lang. And I think it's very apt with a lot of things we're going through now. We remain grateful. Basta, long live na lang. Pero ang daya, kasi hindi ako ready for that question. It gave me time to prepare for that question. Pero siguro lang.
Maraming Swiftie po na manunood nito.
Sana. Okay, sige.
What Dr. TRICIA Robredo has achieved is commendable. And despite the struggles that she was able to persevere and succeed. Yes, we could say that she is privileged, but she did not rest on her laurels and still pursued her dreams. Definitely, Dr. TRICIA Robredo is someone worth emulating. And this has been another episode of Hotseat. For Jacob Unabia, I am Janine Patricia saying thank you for watching and see you on our next episode. Thank you po.
Thank you.
Thank you po, Doc.
Salamat. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Doc.
Magkapangalan pa naman tayo.
Oo nga eh. Sige. Thank you.
Sige po, thank you.